Will a small orgasm while sleeping 3 days after your embryo transfer ruin everything? IVF anxiety really has people out here worried that an orgasm destroyed their embryo transfer. So let's talk about the actual data. First, yes, orgasm causes temporary uterine contractions. Patients hear that and immediately think, oh my God, my embryo might get shaken loose. But that's not how implantation works. Those contractions are short-lived and physiologic. In fact, your uterus has contractions all the time, and a lot of times we don't even know about it. The available evidence drawn from randomized controlled trials, large cohort studies, mechanistic investigations, and clinical guidelines from the American Society for Reproductive Medicine, the European Society of Human Reproduction and Embryology, and the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists consistently indicates that sexual activity, including both intercourse and orgasm, does not increase the risk of adverse outcomes in patients without specific risk factors. In fact, one study looking at uterine contractility after IUI procedure found that the number of uterine contractions per minute after the IUI was actually positively correlated with live birth rate, suggesting that uterine contractility may facilitate rather than hinder reproductive success. While looking at intercourse specifically, which one would hope goes hand in hand with orgasms, but not always, one randomized controlled trial of nearly 500 embryo transfers actually found higher early embryo viability when patients were exposed to semen around the time of transfer, likely because seminal plasma contains immune signaling molecules that help the uterus prepare for implantation. That study, unfortunately, is neither here nor there when it comes to your orgasm, but that doesn't mean that you can't enjoy a healthy sex life after transfer if you want to. And even if you didn't engage in any specific activities and it was a tiny sleep orgasm, you did not ruin your chances. Large IVF datasets looking at tens of thousands of pregnancies show success and subsequently miscarriage risk is linked to things like age, embryo quality, uterine factors, and endometrial preparation. Sex or orgasm is nowhere on that list. Major fertility guidelines don't recommend avoiding sex or orgasm after embryo transfer unless there's a specific medical reason like bleeding. So if you had a random sleep orgasm, your embryo didn't fall out. Implantation is driven by embryo biology and uterine receptivity, not whether you have a tiny sleep orgasm or a big awake one.